regards to sports. I've been connected with a lot of the ex-NHL guys. I've been dealing with it with my business.
You were involved in racing for the longest time.
Yeah, NASCAR I was involved with. Yeah, I did a lot with the NASCAR. That is sports. It is, but I still didn't know who they were. I was in the sponsorship side, and I remember actually standing beside. I got in trouble. I wore shorts in the pits. Quick story about that. And as I'm standing, I got the shorts, and I'm walking, and it is literally, they get very sensitive to almost like, you wear short sleeve shirts and shorts in any environment. If they've got a rule and everyone's like, what are you doing here? Get out of the track. You're not allowed to wear shorts on the track. You have to wear long pants. In the pits I'm talking about, not in the stands. And while I was there, I remember a gentleman standing beside me, and I'm looking at a sign on the wall, and it was a picture of a guy, and there was like a Tide or logo on it, and I go, wow, it's amazing. I wonder if he actually uses Tide. And it was Dale Earnhardt.
Oh yeah.
And he was standing beside Dale Earnhardt Jr., I should say. Anyway, he's standing beside me, and he goes, I actually don't mind it. And I kind of looked over and I said, yeah, I don't mind it either. Didn't even put the two together because he was dressed in casuals. Yeah. And after
no cowboy.
Yeah, and I remember I should go, hi, I'm Adam. He goes, hi, I'm Dale. I said, nice to meet you, Dale. And had this conversation with him. I said, I'm from Toronto, Hamilton area. And didn't realize till afterwards when the crew came up, and they're like, you were talking to Dale Earnhardt Jr. That's awesome. I'm like, no kidding. Holy, I was nicest guy. Really nice guy. I've done that too many times in my days at CHML when I used to go out and meet with a lot of sports broadcasts. I am just, I don't know. Sports, I find it's interesting hearing people talk about it, but it's just, I can't get into it. Kind of like where people get into technology, the same way that's my passion. So yeah, just never been able to get into knowing who's who and who. I don't even know who got let go. Who was that again? The Raptors. That sounds like an important position. So, oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
It happens, yeah. All right, let's get into this stuff. We've been talking about autonomous cars over the last couple of years now, and of course, we've been watching what's happening with Elon Musk and of course the Tesla. We're starting to see more of those. And unfortunately, from time to time, we're going to hear some bad news about fatalities and crashes and a whole lot of things that are going on. So there's an investigation going on right now in the States by the National Transportation Safety Board, but it's not about the car being autonomous. That's not what they're looking at.
No, and this is actually interesting. They haven't really been talking much about this so much of a cause, and it's been happening a lot. We've mentioned this on Tech Talk in the past that there's a lot of Teslas out there that have had issues pertaining to the batteries catching on fire.
Using Samsung batteries?
Well, that's another topic we're getting to. But another point to this is that Tesla's, we all link it. Yeah, there's a segue here. So yeah, but they're investigating, and this one's the first one that's actually come into a limelight because what's happened is it's actually killed someone. Fires have happened with Teslas in the past with the batteries. Yeah. This is the first time that actually there's been a death resulted because of it. That's where I have a feeling we're going to hear a lot about this. What are these batteries doing, and how are they dangerous, and what's involved with it? Remember, you're driving on an electrical power pack as you're going through, and these batteries need a lot of charge to make the vehicle move, and they're constantly being replenished and recharged when you hit the brakes. So long distances, when we're talking about Tesla's got a very, very dynamic ability in regards to what they've been able to make it work. But this is something I think is finally coming to light. The batteries will catch on fire. And I hope this isn't something that's going to result in our new energy driving focus to be a problem.
Notwithstanding that, though, the technology and the testing is ongoing.
Yes.
The other story I saw about the Tesla this week is in Ohio.
Yeah.
Where there's a big auto industry as well. And John Kasich, the governor down there, just signed off for them to start doing road tests.
That's right. Yeah. And I mean, not just road tests, Bill. What makes this one unique about there is that right now Ontario is authorized to have autonomous testing, but you have to have someone behind the wheel.
Yeah.
Controlling it. The what you're referring to is specifically going to be they've now licensed it that they can have self-driving cars without someone behind the wheel controlling it. So that's the big thing that makes it very interesting, is that you will be able, they're going to be testing someone sitting in the passenger seat, sitting in the in the back seat. It can still be remotely controlled, though. This is what makes me go, that's scary, is that car is going to be tested with someone behind a computer, that if there's a malfunction, meaning imagine the car picks you up and it's driving you to a destination, and there's a malfunction in it, it won't be someone in the car to stop it. It will be a computer that someone will remotely be able to access and shut down the car. I mean, this is almost like weird, crazy someone in a control booth somewhere in the world is now driving and holds my hands in their destiny, but it won't be the person in the car. That's what makes it unique.
Yeah, but you already talked about this a couple of months ago, but with these cars, that basically you could be hijacked while you're driving this thing, because if somebody hacks into it, they can be sitting in San Diego and say, by the way, we're holding you ransom in your own car.
Yeah, and until such time, I mean, it's you are basically locked inside the car, or I'm going to drive off a cliff. You've got this much time, and here's the destination. I'll even put it up on Google Maps for you, so you can see how far it is till you finally meet your end. My transfer code is this. So it's
And I want Bitcoin.
And I want Bitcoin. That's going to be the future of crazy network programming we're going to see. It is. It's going to be the evil, character that's going to take over all self-driving autonomous vehicles running from a control room somewhere. And now they're.
What Blofeld was going to try to do.
I think they were looking for a thing. I love yeah, we would probably go down the road of all sorts of thoughts in regards to what they could do with that series based on new technology. But this is seriously something that needs to be addressed. Yeah. It is not, in my opinion, it's great we could do it, and it's wonderful that it's functional and available. It's going to be a problem in regards to serious issues in the future.
Speaking of tests, did your phone go off this week?
It did. Yeah, it did. How
many people I heard from that my phone didn't go off?
Didn't go off or did go off? Did not go off. Oh, well, I've got 3, and they all basically worked perfectly fine. Yeah. So the whole office did the official testing, and yeah, I mean, I don't know how now again, I got the notice to say this information is not being captured. There's no tracking. Yeah. It is only for submission purposes only.
What phones did not go off? Because it was limited. It wasn't everybody.
No, it wasn't. It was actually, you know what? I was on the Freedom Network. That went off. I got that one, no problem. I did not get one on Rogers. I can't speak for who's testing what and where, or what networks were involved. Now, it may be based on different programs. So I'm on a work business plan. So I do know,
for instance, all the iPhones went off. Though. Anybody who had an iPhone, they got the alert.
Right. Yes. No. And I have not heard of other than Rogers, and maybe I'm wrong, but maybe some people did. My Rogers networks at the office did not get a notice, but my Freedoms did.
Interesting. But anyway, on that note, the testing on this week has certainly raised awareness about this.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
And it's I think it's a great natural step, and the next progression is what they need to do here. And it's going to, of course, as we've talked about on the program, we did a segment on it that day. It's going to notify us about potential catastrophes and anything else that can happen like this. So it's a good deal, good idea. But it's a little disconcerting.
It is.
Because I did the segment about it that morning.
Yeah.
Actually, my wife and I were walking our dogs. Yeah. At about 1:15 or whatever it was in the afternoon, and
got your notice.
And all of a sudden, both our phones go off. And what? Oh yeah, it's that. Okay.
Yeah. Remember the old days when you used to do a signal on the radio, or you used to get the bars on the TV? This is just a test. In the case of an emergency, this is part of where I feel is a little, again, talking about the autonomous driving vehicles and so forth. This is another situation where actually could be caused a problem. This could be easily hacked. Our technology on SMS is not 100%, I would say, locked and secure. So if there is a warning, it could cause a panic at the same time as, hey, there's a hurricane, please be advised, the streets are closed, whatever. This is another situation of there's always a plus with a negative to it. So keep in mind, technology is wonderful for evolution, but it may cause a lot of challenges in the process.
But I got to figure those alarms are going off in Hawaii now with the volcano erupting.
Exactly. Yes.
The lava and potential for this thing apparently could really blow. So
yes.
So it's a good idea. Listen, we're talking about batteries and phones, and I mentioned about the iPhone.
Yeah.
One of the ongoing concerns from an awful lot of iPhone users that I know, of course, is battery life.
That's right. Yes, battery life.
Is it going to get any better?
Well, there's a lot of, you think at this stage, and I've bragged about this on TechTalk many times, the new iPhone X, it's going to be great, Bill. Again, I only read until I can actually get a sense of how it works. I've used the Note 8. I know how the S9 works, and S9 is actually pretty impressive. I have to admit on the S9. The iPhone X is decent. I've seen it. I don't use it, but I know many business colleagues that use it, and the battery still drains. And this is going to segue to another point, which we'll talk about, but there's a new package that you can get. If you have an iPhone X, you can now get a 3600 milliamp package that goes around the phone. And what it does, what makes it unique is that it wirelessly charges. Now, what wirelessly charges with other adapters other than Apple. That is the caveat. While it's charging wirelessly, it actually will also charge the phone. That's great because there's a big medical problem when it comes to charging phones. You said that very well.
Yeah.
And how many times I think you and I were talking about is like, oh, I'm running out of battery. Michelle, my wife, whenever she sees the battery at 10%, it's like, the world is chaotic. I need some medication to calm down. It's this anxiety. She's not the only one. I get that way. A lot of people do. And it's a medical concern. Doctors are actually claiming that it is a major cause of heart rate issues, talking heart pressure, and anxiety. We have a medical issue that we see our phone at that percent, and it actually sends us into turmoil. So they're claiming we need to get out of this mindset of...
See, I get like that when mine's below 50.
Yeah, 15% is probably not like
50, 50.
Yeah. Oh, 50, yes.
It's half battery. And I'm like, oh my God, what am I gonna
Yeah,
do?
what are you going to do? It's actually not good for your health. And we all have had this medical concern. Doctors are actually defining this as something to be looked at and should be aware of. And, it's almost like we have to get over our battery anxiety. It's a deep breaths. The world isn't going to crash. It's going to be okay. But how many people, I'm sure you've met, Bill, where it's like, oh no, I'm running out of battery.
Oh, yeah.
And what are you going to do? Right. So yes, think about that. It's like, happy thoughts, battery power is okay. And it does affect your health. It's going to be, there's probably going to be Battery Health Society or a new association starting up soon.
And just get a couple more chargers for heaven's sakes.
Yeah.
Get one for the car, get one for the bathroom, get one for anywhere.
I got battery packs that I use that tell me the percentage on them and has 3 outlet ports on it. They're phenomenal. I charge my laptop, all 3 phones, 3 tablets, and trust me, I try to limit my anxiety when it comes to battery use as much as possible.
We talked about Tesla a while ago. I'm always intrigued by some of the advancements in the auto industry when it comes to tech. And Ford is got a great idea now.
You know what? Ford is actually it's a great foundation as far as where we see technology coming from. They've always been innovative when they come out with technology. And this one I thought was really cool. They've come out, and it's tied in with Apple, by the way. It's an Apple system or the software similar to it. And what it does is for those with visual disabilities, in the back seat, think of it as a film on the window. It will describe what is happening outside. So if you've got visual disabilities and you're sitting in the back seat, the car will actually describe to you what the visual is. So it will pull up Braille and give you a descriptive, and it's using technology that very much like augmented reality. It gives a picture of the landscape, and then it describes it on the window. So if those are visually blind or challenged, they can put their hand on the window and it will describe to them in Braille, or it will have an audio that you can actually touch and describe to you. The landscape is woods. There's buildings. What does the buildings look like? It's like asking someone in the back seat, what's outside right now? And now Ford has the ability with Apple technology to link the two.
All right. Speaking of automobiles and the technology there, let's talk about this 5G thing that GM and some others are working on.
Well, again, when we're talking about the autonomous driving and self-driving, 5G is rolling out and all the manufacturers are on it. Ford being one of them, BMW, GM, and Toyota. 5G is going to be running like computers inside the car. Right now, we program the car. Whatever it's programmed with, it runs on that information. So the new 5G, the new development of vehicles we're going to be driving, sure, they're going to drive on their own. However, the real cool thing is the 5G network is going to be built to better connect each car to each other. So think of it as a group of people walking together and someone hurts his leg and someone's, everybody tells everyone, we're going to be a little slower. Jimmy hurt himself. That's what the cars are doing. So they're going to be speaking to each other as we're on the highways, we're going to be driving around. Again, going in line with, we're going to be autonomous driving. These computers now are going to be interlinked with each other to know that, hey, I'm braking. It will tell the cars behind it and behind that, everybody time to brake. It's not just the sensors in the vehicle itself. So we're going to see a lot of cars, I don't want to say collaborating together and talking to make our world a little safer when we're on the highway. But yes, that's going to be the future of how all vehicles are going to be mainstream built.
I was making a smart remark about Samsung just a little while ago, but they've got more problems. It's not with the phone this time.
No, it's not. And I am a big Samsung fan, and you know that. So I'm being very honest when I tell everyone here that Samsung had to recall 3 million washing machines. Yes, because they exploded. And we're not talking a little explode. It's laundry was running and explode with dish soap or laundry soap and everything all over the place. So it's a major concern. Samsung's really got to up their battery game. And I don't think they're just isolated. I think we're hearing this in different places.
I mean,
but
you've noticed that if you see a Samsung.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got wash, they've got spin, they've got explode. It's like,
you know what? Dries it an instant. It's great. Yeah, that new style and trend is coming out, and only Samsung provides that burnt look in your clothes. So it's a Samsung issue. So if you got a washing machine, I highly advise go to the website, check what your serial number is, because these were sold all across North America, and they are recalling 3 million of them.
Yeah. Good idea. Just to be on the safe side.
That's right.
Very quickly, what's going on with Gmail?
Gmail's got a lot of updates. We saw a lot of things with Google's announcement just this past week, and there's lots of things taking place in the new operating system. One is I use Gmail a lot. It's one of our office systems. And when I do reply, it usually gives you one of 3 smart answers. So if someone asks you a question, I'm going to say it's pretty much 10% right. So it's like, yes, that sounds good. All right, I'll get, very simple answers Gmail will do. The new one, though, now is actually going to start thinking of what the sentence is. So now you don't even need to type the sentence. It's going to say, you want to say this. I'll give you an example. On Friday, when you're signing off an email, it will automatically ask you, would you like to say, have a good weekend? Versus you typing, hope you have a good weekend. Google's going to naturally think that's a nice thing to say, and you will have the option of putting it in. It will. This is all part of their whole communication with their artificial intelligence. They also announced this past week that there is now the ability to schedule. So automatically, you just say, I'm looking to schedule an appointment at the sushi restaurant. It will call. It will have the conversation. It even puts ums and ahs in the discussion, and it's yes, because. In the test, if you hear it, it has a conversation with the restaurant and describes, I'd like to book a table for 4. We don't have a table for 4. We only book for 5. Okay, so can we still show up? It literally has the full conversation, and when done, it will schedule it in your calendar.
We got a minute here. I think we have a minute left. Okay. Because I want to talk about streaming services.
Yes.
I'm a big fan of Roku and some of the other things that are going on. And there's a new British one I saw. BritBox or something like that they're selling now too. I just checked that out. Now it's all these British.
Absolutely,
it's my alley because it's all these British, crime shows that I love watching.
Right.
But there's so many of them right now.
That's right. Yeah. Well, of course, we have to factor in the ones with the most money, and that is Apple.
Oh, of course.
Yes, of course. Yes, Apple TV. When it first came out, I never quite got it. It never made any sense to me. I'm like, what? I don't get it. Now it makes sense. Apple is now going to be offering one simple price. I mean, when you've got how much billion in the bank, they're really trying to entice people back to the Apple box. And part of it is now you will be able to buy a subscription through your Apple TV at a discounted price, and it will give you access to HBO, Netflix, BBC, all the programs that you could buy individually through Roku. Apple's going to be able to offer that through their new streaming service. So if you have an Apple TV or you want to get one, it might be a good opportunity to do so, because with a company with billions of dollars, they're going to offset a lot of that streaming subscription fees.
Anybody can offer a discount.
It's Apple.
So you can take the hit. Tech Talk, we do this every Friday, 11:35 with Adam Oldfield. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Bill. Yeah, have a great weekend.
Back after the break here on